This week we worked on squaring the arena and doing what I call the four-corner drill. I've had people ask me what to do to help quicken their horse's feet on the backside. This is a drill that I will use to help that, as well as help a horse that is cheating. I really like it because you are working on getting your horse to go from straight lines, and you can let them get really flat and uncollected, and then get them shaped up and ready to make these squares in the corners and eventually the circles in the corners, and then get them to finish the circle and head off straight again down the arena to your next point for your square or circle. It keeps them really honest in between because you are making them go straight across in a straight line straight to your point at the wall. So I start off trotting to the right, and then I do a square in each corner of the arena, and I switch directions, and then I do the same thing trotting in the other direction, and then I switch directions again, and then I start adding in the circles. When I add the circles in, I'm making sure that I am doing the circles in a size that she is able to hold her body in position correctly. And if we don't make a nice, perfectly even circle the first time around, I will circle again until I am happy with how she is holding her body into position. And I'm making sure that she completely finishes that circle, and then I add the square in at the end, where I am wanting her to shift her weight onto her hind end, bring her front end around, and be ready to power off in a straight line across the arena to my next point. And then when I am switching directions, I am letting the wall help me push their weight back onto their hind end. So I'm going to move her off the wall enough to give her front end room to come around. And I'm really focusing on moving her rib cage over and getting her body into position. And then I turn her in towards the wall, and I start that turn like it's the pocket of my barrel. And then once her face comes level with the wall, it pushes that weight onto the back end, and her front end comes around, and you get a quicker finish on your barrels. And then we start all over and do the same thing trotting in the other direction. I always go around and do at least 4 corners. If I wasn't really happy with how she did half of the circles, say, I will go around and I will do 2 more corners or 4 more corners, depending on how she's working. With that in mind, really be aware of where your horse is at in their training. I don't want to be picking on them all the time. I always want to be improving, but I also want to be building on something, and I want to be able to end on a good note. So now when I come and do this transition here, I'm going to ask her to pick up her right lead and start loping. And I'm going to start by squaring the arena again at a lope, and then switching directions and squaring the arena at a lope to the left. And I'm just kind of feeling her out where she's at, how quickly she is able to get her body into position and make this corner. Again, be aware of where your horse is at in his training and his skill level, and adjust the drills to meet that. So for example, I might make these corners a little bit more round. My main concern is that she is going from a straight line in between and getting her body rounded and collected and into position for the corner. So this was really good too, because you got to see a correction that I made there. She was really heavy on my hands and pushing on me and not wanting to get her body into position. So I stopped her and I put my hands on the swells of my saddle. I find that if you put your hands on, say, your horn or the swells, and the horse feels like they are pulling against something solid, they give a little bit quicker. And I backed her up and got her off my hands and did another transition and started fresh. And you can see right away when I backed her up there and did that other transition and started fresh, that she was back off my hands again and more collected and in a better frame. Okay, now we are coming around and finishing our squares to the left, and I'm going to slow her down, ask her to move over and do a transition here and pick up our right lead, and then now we are going to add in our circles to the right.